welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hey, how you doing? My name is Ash and today's video is going to be a one brand tutorial featuring all E.L.F products. So at this point, everything I bought was well over a month ago, and if you caught my life update video, you would kind of know why things got pushed so far. I meant to do this so long ago, but we're finally getting to it. I bought a bunch of new E.L.F stuff during their last major sale back in June, and I got a lot of good stuff I've been wanting to try. I'm going to throw up an overview as I am talking of all the products I got. Some of it I've tried before, some of it I haven't. Like, I have the Camel Cc Cream. I got a new shade in that, so I'm going to try the new shade. I have the Power Grip Primer, which is one of my favorite primers. And I got some new sponges, a couple brushes, and yeah, I'm going to be able to do a full face of E.L.F makeup, and I am so excited. So I'm going to choose a sponge. I am going to start with my face and then do my eye makeup, because that's just how I like to do my makeup routine now. So I have the Cookies and Dream sponge and then the Total Face sponge. I actually have the, I don't know what it's called. I actually have this pink one from E.L.F. I can't remember the actual name of this off the top of my head, but this has been my favorite sponge to use. I do have a new favorite that's not E.L.F, but this is a great alternative for a, $20 beauty blender. It's pretty much the same thing as the Total Face sponge in black. But I think I'm going to try the Cookies and Dream sponge. So it's just a marble sponge. I'm going to go wet this, but you can kind of see the size of it. We'll see how big it gets. So now it is this size. It's about doubled in size, and it feels very soft, pretty much like their other sponges, so I'm excited to use this. Alright, so I have a couple different primers. I have the Power Grip Primer, which is one of my favorite primers. It's very similar to the Milk Makeup Grip one. And then I have the Mint Melt Cooling Face Primer. I think I'm going to try this one. So it has sort of like a minty scent to it. I'm not mad at it. It does feel a little bit different than the Hydro Grip Primer. Usually the Hydro Grip one I can use a little bit and it goes a long way. This one doesn't seem to be spreading as far, but it feels pretty similar. It feels pretty tacky. I'm going to let that sink in, and I'm going to go in now with a brow pencil. I have the Instant Lift Brow Pencil in the shade Auburn. So it's not a super fine point. Like, it has a fine point, but I can tell that this is going to whittle down very quickly. But it has a spoolie on the end, and I can appreciate that. I did get the Brow Lift gel, but I don't know. I might use that at the end. So I typically like to go in with my brow product after my primer. That way the primer has time to sink in. And this is like my first layer of brow product, because I go in multiple times to fill in my brows. I'm not mad about the shade. Let me zoom you in a little bit more. For being an Auburn shade, it's not orange, which I appreciate. So that's what I got working so far. The formula seems pretty nice. It's not like a Brow Wiz, like Anastasia Brow Wiz, or even like a NYX pencil, but that's a good shade. I like that. I'm gonna go in with the Camel Cc Cream. I had this previously. I still have it. It's in my drawer. In, I think it's the 120 shade, which is a little too dark for me. So this is in the shade Fair 100W with warm golden undertones, which might be a problem for me because I typically go for cooler tones. Cooler or neutral. But this is what it is. This is very highly rated, and I do quite like it. It's a really nice product. So I'm just going to try to squeeze some out. Yeah, I had to really squeeze that to get that out. So typically that product doesn't work like that. I might have put a little bit too much on. But the shade is pretty yellow. But I think with everything else on top, it should work out okay. I put way too much on. Hold please. It's pretty much blended in. Typically, this doesn't look like this. I don't know if it's the shade isn't working for me or what, but I'm going to power through. I am now going to go in with the Hydrating Camo Cream. This is one of my favorite concealers. I have it in the shade Fair Rose, so hopefully this doesn't look too weird because I have the yellow and then pink, so we'll see. This I didn't buy in the haul. I bought it at Ulta a while ago, and still one of my faves. It's like my probably 5th tube that I bought. It is a beautiful concealer. It works well on top of foundation, just by itself. I absolutely love it. This is looking horrible on my nose. Let me see. It's just my skin is not looking as good as it usually does. But maybe as I apply everything else, it will look better towards the end, hopefully. Alright, so before I set my face, I have a couple cream products. I have the Sculpt palette, and I have a cream Putty Blush. This is in the shade Bahamas. So this is what this one looks like. I think I'm going to go in with this shade. And I'm going to go in, this is a Morphe E.L.F brush. Not mad at the shade. It's a little warmer, not super cool, but everything pulls pretty warm on me. Really don't want to mess with my nose anymore, but I'm not very good with nose contour. Do a little bit of contour under your lip. Give your bottom lip, make it look a lot more fuller, whatever. Alright, I'm just gonna take my sponge and just start blending that in. And it is blending in so nicely. I love that. Now I'm going to go in with the Putty Blush. So that is the shade Bahamas. I wish it was written on here so I would remember that in the future, but it's pretty. This is actually a foundation brush, but I think it will work. This is the Anastasia 830. That is very pretty. I like that. And I realized that this actually does have the name. It's on the side, not on the bottom like most products. Do a little bit on my nose. I love a blushy nose. A little on the sides, like a sunburn. Now I'm going to blend this in. I'm just going to use the bottom of the sponge like I did with the cream contour. Now that it's been sitting on my skin, the CC cream is looking a lot better, so I'm very happy with that. For powder, I got the Halo Glow setting powder. I have never tried this before, so let's give it a whirl. So it just has a little sifter, and I'm gonna put a little bit of the powder in the lid. This, I believe, is a translucent shade, and I'm just gonna go in with a dry sponge to set my under eye. I'm just going to pat out any creases because my under eyes do crease. That happens when I get old, as I get old. Just a little powder, pick off the cat hair. For me, it either takes me a little bit to see if I like a powder or I know right away. So far, I am not hating it. It's setting it pretty nicely. It doesn't seem to be, well, it settles in my highlines, wrinkles. It settles in my fine lines, there we go. But, you know, that's what you get when you get older. I'm just gonna set certain parts of my face. I don't get oily, but I like setting around my nose because I wear glasses and I don't want anything coming off, even though it always does. I think I'm gonna go in with the powder contour now just to kind of deepen what the cream did. I do like how it's looking, and honestly, as I've been sitting, my skin has been looking better. It's looking kind of powdery and dry, but I'm hoping towards the end when I get some setting spray on, it looks a lot better. But this is the Sculpting shade contour palette in light medium. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna go in with, I believe it's this shade. It looks a little bit cooler than this one. This one I think is actually it's more of a like satin powder. I thought it was gonna be like a highlight, but it actually might be pretty under the eyes. But I'm gonna go in with this powder and do a quick contour. I don't think this is a contour brush, but this is a Real Techniques brush that I found at TJ Maxx. Just a little extra powder. I think I am gonna go in with another blush. I didn't check my drawer. I was playing Mario Party while I was waiting for my camera to recharge. It's very subtle, but I like that. A little too heavy on with powder on this side, but it is what it is. That's what I get for not using my mirror and doing TikTok at the same time. Just kind of put a little bit of contour everywhere I put my contour. Cream contour. Now this doesn't always work, but something that I do a lot, especially when I just wear concealer and powders on top. If I go too heavy with my powders, I go back in with my sponge and tap over it, and typically it will diffuse a little bit. I believe the only highlighter I have is this baked one in Moonlight Pearls, so hopefully this works. I used to have the baked products all the time from E.L.F, so I'm excited to see if this is still good. This is a Morphe Jeffree Star brush. I don't support Jeffree Star, and I don't really shop Morphe anymore, so I don't have too many highlighting brushes, so this is what I'm keeping. Hopefully this picks it up. The baked ones are very powdery. That's really pretty. Ooh. It's a little bit too dark for me. I think it's a little bit too dark. It's passable. Usually you can tell if a highlighter is too dark on you if you can see it from the side, but you look face forward and you can see like a gray cast. Just glow everywhere. That is really pretty. So before I move on to eyes, I think I'm going to spray down my face just to sort of melt the powders. I have 3 sprays. I have the Hydrating Coconut Mist, which I pretty much need some hydration. Then I have the Stay All Night Micro Fine Setting Mist. And then the Glow Dewy Mist that has coconut and argan oil. I think I might try this one because it's glowy. I want glowy, but this is hydrating. Yeah, I think I'll try this one. That it was a little aggressive, but it's looking pretty nice. This is a fan from Nikki Tutorials' brand, Nima. I know I said I was going to go in with a powder blush, but I actually really like how this is looking right now, and I think the way my face is looking is going to work better for the eye look I have in mind. So for eyeshadow, I have 2 of the Mint Bite Size palettes, but I'm not going to dig into those right now. I am going to use one of these. So this one is the Opposites Attract, and then this one is the Earth Ocean one. I think I want to go into this one. So this is what the palette looks like. I want to do a more like grungy smoky eye situation, so I'm gonna play with those tones. I also have a glitter to use. This one is in the shade something. Oh, Disco Queen. It's just a really pretty silver. I think the silver would work well if I do a very smoky eye. Maybe put that on the inner corner. I also got these little pearls, but I don't know if I want to do pearls today. I got 3 different eyeliners. So I have the Expert Liquid Liner. I have a green pencil, which I don't think is going to work with what I have in mind today. Then I have the Precision Liquid Liner. This is a waterproof liner. And then a eyeliner for the like waterline. Now, unfortunately, I did not pick up /C on their site, which they probably do have. I did not see an eye primer, so I'm going to go in with my Anastasia primer. This is my favorite eye primer that I've tried so far. It works a lot better than just concealer. So I'm going to apply this really quick and then zoom you in so we can finish off with the eyes. I actually forgot I picked up some brushes. So this is the Smoky Eye Brush Kit. So I pulled out just some of my blending brushes, and I'm going to open this and I'll use these as I do my eyeshadow. So I am going to take the eyeshadow C brush from E.L.F, and I'm going to first start with the shade here called Low Key and put that on my brow bone. Oh, that has like a pink shift in it. I like to highlight my brow bone first, that way it doesn't get too lost and I can blend shades into it. Now I'm going to go in with the E.L.F Fluffy Eye Blender, and I'm going to go into the shade here called Witty. It's like a taupey brownie color, and I'm just going to start by tapping it before I start blending it, because I am using the eye primer without setting it. Maybe we're getting somewhere with that. I really like to take shadow and bring it all the way up to my eyebrow in the front, I just like how that looks on me. If you don't like that, I would suggest not bringing it too far up and in. When I started getting into makeup, I only bought E.L.F stuff because it was the most affordable, next to like Wet n Wild and some other drugstore brands which I can't remember the name of. And I actually bought an E.L.F palette for the first time in college. I was a late bloomer with makeup. I'm still working with that same shade, and I am just blending it out a little further. Now this is the E.L.F blending brush. It's fluffy but kind of not. I am going to go right next door to this one called Smooth, and I'm going to kind of use this to pack this onto the lid. So like I said, I was going to go Smoky Grunge today. This shade is a little bit patchy, but I think if I add more to it and blend, because it's going to take a lot of blending for this, I think it'll be okay. This is a Milani crease brush. I'm going to go in with that same smooth shade, and I'm going to take this on my lower lash line and just stamp it. I like to go back and forth between my top and bottom just so I can get an idea of how the look is actually going. And I'm focusing it more like 3/4 of the way in. I'm not going the full to like the inner corner. I'm also going to take, since this is a denser brush, I'm going to take a little bit more of that smooth shade and just go right along the lash line just to conceal that a little bit more and make it a little bit deeper right at the lash line. Going back in with that first blending brush, I'm going to dip back into Witty, and I'm going to start to buff this under my lash line. Going right below that darker shade just to help blend it out. I think I'm going to add in a touch of color, and by a touch I mean this yellow shade right here. I'm going to try to focus that right in there. It is the shade Happy, and this is a Moda Pro brush. It is the crease shade, one of my absolute favorite all-time brushes. So just the tiniest bit of that yellow. I'm just gonna pop that right here. This is gonna add just a little pop of a little bit of color. You can barely even tell it's there, but I like it. I think I'm also going to take the shade a little bit on the outside here. Kind of catty corner it. So now I'm going to pop back in with that first brush I used and going into that first shade Low Key, and I'm going to touch up the brow bone. And whenever I do that, I just go back in with my blending brush and just diffuse that edge so it blends a lot better. I did have the shadow stick to use. It's Champagne Crystal, but I think I'm just going to go in with the silver. So this is Disco Queen, and I'm going to pop this on the inner corner and a little bit like right in here. The packaging is very deceiving because it's literally this small compared to the packaging. That is super pretty. I really like that. I'm just going to follow just a little bit on the lower lash line. I really like that. There's a nice little pop. And now I'm going to go in with liner. So first off, I'm going to go in with this No Budge Retractable eyeliner. I'm going to put that in my waterline and tight line. And then I think I'm going to try the Precision liquid liner. This is going on very smooth. It's very black. I like. Oh, I really like that eyeliner. That is really good. Hopefully it lasts long. And if it does, it's going to be very good. So this is the Precision liner. Let's give it a whirl, see if it is good. Right off the bat, I feel that this brush tip is a little too flimsy. I like a little bit of a stiffer brush tip. Not bad. I don't know if this transfers. Alright, that dried pretty well. With the fan, it dried a little bit faster. It's not too shiny, which I appreciate. I don't really like shiny black liner. I'm going to do the other eye, and then I will be back on for mascara, lips, and I have to do lashes separate. Right, it's as even as it's going to get. Only mascara I picked up is the Big Mood One, this is in the Pride packaging, and this is not waterproof. I actually have an open tube, so I'm not going to use this one just yet. I'm going to go grab my other tube. So this is the Big Mood Mascara. I honestly shouldn't be using this one because it's pretty old, but I quite like it. I didn't like it at first. It has a nice hourglass shape, but once it dried out a little bit, which I find with most mascaras, once they dry out a little bit, I like better. But yeah. It doesn't do much, honestly, for my top lashes. But my top lashes are pretty sad, but it's pretty good on the bottom lashes. You know what? I'm actually going to also use this. This is actually a great wand to do sort of a messy splatter. I really like doing this, especially on messy smoky eye looks, because it just helps blend in the like grunge. And I just focus it like on the outer edge over the wing, a little bit on the lid. And it's mascara, it doesn't really budge, and it's wonderful. For lips, I have 3 e.l.f. lip liners. One is newer to me. This is in the shade Mauve, and then I have light brown and soft pink. These are really good. These are the Love Triangle lip filler ones. I think I'm gonna go in with the brown one, and then I think I'm just gonna throw a gloss on. Out of everything I bought, these other 3 lip products plus the lip liner that I got, I have the Cookies and Dreams lip exfoliator, the Cookies and Dreams lip gloss in Cream Come True, which I think I'm gonna pair the more brownie and this one together, and then I have the tinted lip oil in Coral Kisses, which is really pretty, but I don't think it's gonna go with this look. So it is like a triangle point, and obviously when you use it, it kind of doesn't have the shape anymore, but it is a very lovely lip liner. So this is with just the lip liner on, and you know, it doesn't look too bad like this. I do think I want to try this lip gloss though. Alright, so that lightened the lip a little bit, but it's a very pretty shine. It's a little sticky, but I am going to now hop off camera. I'm gonna put lashes on. Unfortunately, I don't have any e.l.f. lashes. I'm going to touch up my brows, and then I will be back with the finished look. I'm also going to do something with this hair and take off this hoodie, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I know I look quite different than how I ended things, so I'm going to go over what I added, and then we will finish out this video with my thoughts on everything. So I did end up going in with the brow lift just to add a little bit more to my brows because they weren't as bushy as I wanted them. And I used that, and I went back in with the brow pencil. I added little pearls from the e.l.f. pearls on just the inner corner there, and I touched up the glitter on the inner corner. So if you're curious about the hair, this is the Maya ponytail from insert name here. But if you're curious about jewelry, the earrings are Spooky Doodle Club, and the necklaces are Lovecraft Crypt. That's that. Let's get into talking about the products that I put on my face. For the Mint Melt Primer, I don't think I like this as much as the Power Grip Primer. This, I just didn't feel it did really anything to my skin. It made it a little bit tacky, but not as tacky as the Power Grip one, and that is just phenomenal for under makeup because it just makes everything stick to it and it lasts the longest time. I'm not mad at it, but it's not going to be my favorite or my go-to. I will use this just to use it up, but I don't think it's going to be something that I would repurchase if it's still available. The Camel Cc Cream is something that I have a love-hate relationship with. Sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. Today is one of those days where it just did not work for me. And I think that was kind of my fault. I think I used a little bit too much, and then I paired it with this primer, and I've never tried this primer before, so maybe that was the issue, but I will keep using this because when it works really well. The Camo concealer, always gonna be a favorite. The setting powder, not bad. I like that. Oh, the sponge. I do like the sponge. I do recommend e.l.f. sponges. They don't last as long as other brands, but they're good for what they are. The contour palette, I really like this. I think that this performed very well. It blended out very well. Granted, I only used the one shade, but I'm very, very pleasantly surprised with it. This is going to be probably my go-to cream contour now. And this blush is gorgeous. I recommend this. The Putty Blushes, I need to pick up more shades of these. The Powder Contour Palette, it was okay. I don't think that this is going to be a go-to for me. It's definitely not a favorite, but it's not like something that I absolutely hate. I just prefer other contour powders over this. But this highlighter, oh my god, this is gorgeous. Like, this, it's just gorgeous. I absolutely love that. This glowy mist is so good. It took my skin from looking very powdery to looking very glowy, and I like that. This is gonna be in rotation for me to set my makeup with. The brow pencil, I would give it a, maybe like a 6.5 out of 10. It's not horrible, but I like a finer tip when it comes to brow pencils, and this one is just a little too chunky. But the color that they have for Auburn, this is a very, very, very good color for redheads. If you're like a strawberry blonde, it might be a little bit too dark for you, but it is a very nice shade. And this brow lift thing, pleasantly surprised with it. I like it a lot better than I like the Anastasia Brow Freeze. The Opposites Attract palette is very nice. I do think that it's a little bit patchy on the deeper shades, at least the one that I used, but it performed very well. It was very easy to blend. I didn't have any trouble with a lot of fallout, and I really like how this look came together in the end. This retractable pencil, bomb. I highly recommend this. And the liquid liner, I would say that this is, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It's not my favorite that I've used, but it's not too bad. But I like that it dries down, not super shiny. I already explained my thoughts on the mascara and the lip liner, and this gloss is super pretty, so I am very happy with my face. I love E.L.F. I've always loved E.L.F. So if E.L.F., if you're seeing this, hit me up. PR, collab, something. So yeah, that is everything. This is my first time ever doing a one brand makeup tutorial thing. So let me know if I should do more of these. Granted, I would have to buy more from brands because I don't think I can do a full face of any other brand. Maybe Wet n Wild. Actually, I take that back. I could do Anastasia. I can do a full face of Anastasia Beverly Hills. But other than that, I don't think I can do much of any other brand. But, you know, let me know if you have any video suggestions. Also, let me know down below. I am hopefully this week moving up to doing 3 videos a week. So expect the video Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. Follow me over on my socials. I am artistryxashh everywhere. And yeah, I hope you have an amazing day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye!